I tossed and turned through the night. Something just didn't sit right. Just something about the scavenger hunt had me at odds. Just something wrong about it. My throat felt dry, and my head was spinning. Tiredness lingered from last night, as if I hadn't slept at all. I rolled over and checked the time. It was early, and for a vacation, I wasn't getting much in the way of decent sleep. Why? You have so much time to sleep. I think you might have a problem. I swung my legs over the side of the bed, groaning and clutching my stomach as a feeling of unease hit me somewhere deep. It wasn't pain so much as a fear that something was going to go wrong. Terribly wrong. In a daze, I got dressed and readied myself for the day. Part of it was laying on my bed, splayed out in an attempt to settle my nerves. The other part was thinking back to the reassurance that Roswell gave me the night before. Where he's like, oh, you feel weird about something? Shut up. Things were quiet by the time I got up. Either the others were still in bed, or they were all off doing things elsewhere. As I wandered around, I heard people in the dining room, so I went to investigate to see who exactly was up. Orlando and Roswell were sitting at the table. Both looked up as I entered the room. Roswell had his notebook with him again, but before I could notice much else, they were greeting me.
Good morning, Dave.
Did you sleep well? Taking a seat next to Roswell, I rubbed my face, groaning as my eyes still adjusted to the light. Morning shouldn't be allowed to exist.
Someone needs coffee. Let me get you some.
So, what? What's bothering you, Dave? When something's wrong, you usually kind of wrinkle your nose up a bit. I groaned again, resting my chin on the table as I slumped forward. I haven't been sleeping well, I guess. This whole place is giving me some weird vibes still. Orlando puts his hand on my shoulder, giving me a careful look. Well, for what it's worth, you're not alone there. But I was primed preemptively to be worried about, ghosts and stuff, so I'm not a really good source on this. Felt something's odd about this place ever since we arrived. Can't put my finger on it, though. So far, just been chalking things up to my imagination. I put it down to Roswell making jokes about ghosts, but still. Orlando shuddered, trying to shake off a bad vibe. But it was one of those violent shakes that went from him straight into me from the point of contact he had on my shoulder. Well, if it helps, I could give you a heads up if I notice anything really off, and we can go half on a taxi out of here? Give me enough of a heads up and I'll cover any costs. Thanks for letting me know. Roswell wandered back with his cup of coffee, placing it carefully in front of me. He seemed to be as uneasy as Orlando was as he sat back down.
What did I miss?
Nothing important. Don't worry. While Orlando answered Roswell, I started drinking from the mug provided. Slightly sweeter than how I normally take it, but the hot beverage was just what I needed to start the day.
There's the Dave we know and love.
Feeling better now? I nodded quickly. I could feel the dopey grin on my face while the taste lingered on my tongue.
You look just as shaken, Orlando. Did you want me to make you a cup too?
No, I'm fine. Thank you. I don't drink coffee, remember?
The way they interact with food in this novel is just so strange. I feel like I'm missing a part of the context, because the way that they describe Orlando with coffee makes you think that he would immediately drop dead if he drank it. You're like, oh no,
Yeah.
I don't do coffee.
Tiramisu,
What?
but that has coffee in it.
But then characters are like, have you ever tried strawberry ice cream? And it's like, what is going on here? What's their fixation with food?
Wait, really? How come?
Orlando removed his hand from my shoulder and started to fidget, unsure of how best to respond.
Here's I want to roleplay a scenario with you, Keith. We're both at a restaurant and you order something that has a lot of onions in it, which you really like.
Yes.
So ask me if I want some of it.
You want some of these onions? I ordered just onions.
No thanks. Now ask me why.
Oh, I they were role playing. I'm like, and then it's
why
is a weird thing to ask someone?
No, to say, do you not like onions?
Why is that?
Because I don't really like them.
Why?
Wow. That's just that's the whole thing. That's all. You don't. No one in their world is like, I don't eat onions. Like it's just so weird how they deal with it.
Sure, because we're past explaining why people don't eat meat most of the time, even. But other stuff is just like, oh yeah, I don't really like that.
Yeah, I'm just like not really into it.
I don't really like almonds. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's just no problem with that. So why is it that anytime a character in this is like, I feel like this, I don't know like what coffee.
I don't know what it would be, but I feel like they're trying to set something up about Orlando and coffee for some reason, and it might be like plot relevant eventually.
Yeah,
but they're just kind of like finding their way to their little heavy-handedly from moment to moment. We're like, okay, yeah, fine. We established that he didn't drink coffee in the first scene of the game when he didn't want one of the coffees, and that was kind of enough. But whereas, like, the equivalent of, like, the tiramisu, like, oh, you're having tiramisu. Orlando's not in this conversation, but he couldn't have that. It has coffee. And I'm like, okay, we're really reminding us that he doesn't like coffee in, like, unrelated scenes to a bit where it gets to be, like, a lot.
I'm fully just waiting for it to be revealed that he drinks coffee and then becomes like full yandere, psychopathic murderer, like has a completely different personality. Like, you know.
Maybe.
That's what it's feeling. It feels like that's gotta be what it is. But then that also begs the question of like, why is everyone responding so weirdly to food in this universe? It's like they've never eaten anything before.
There was, some bad experiences?
Bad experiences? Like what? Did you do something?
Pooped him. Sitting up a little straighter, I tried to think back all the time we'd gone out to get snacks or drinks, and whenever I'd get coffee, Orlando would get tea or something else. Oh yeah, you never did get coffee with me. What was the reason for that? I just swore off coffee one day after something happened. That's all. Tea's better for you anyway.
Tea actually has more tannins and is worse for your teeth. Just fun fact. Just fun fact for the people out there. The coffee non-believers out there. All you tea heads out there, I'm coming for you.
You can give me tea or coffee at any time and I will be happy. These are both good things.
They say coffee is good for your liver.
So this is
fun fact.
This is a funny thing that stood out to me is that when we were getting the thumbnails art done, Grizz made a point to ask me whether we like tea or coffee. And then when I answered, he's like, "Excellent." I'm like, what does that mean?
It's just gonna turn out that this whole game is gonna be some weird like.
What if this is really
weird?
Important? What if the tea
coffee food fetish thing where it's like coffee makes you into a crazy monster? I don't know. This is gonna be. It's real weird.
Like not that level, but just like, what if the choice of tea or coffee really is like a really important plot point in this game? Like, what if? We're not ready for what's gonna happen here. Like every time they have a heavy-handed scene about about Orlando and coffee, it's the equivalent of like Akane talking about like, have you ever heard about like those like radio display where they tested people on this thing, and like the people that weren't in the town knew the information that was only broadcast in the other town. Isn't that crazy, Junpei? Anyway, it's like
anyway, Ice 9.
You've been spending too much time with Haas. Coffee's fine.
Haas doesn't drink coffee. There's a schism here. Those are the teams. I gestured at Roswell while looking at Orlando, clinging to the validation. Maybe not with how Roswell takes it, but sure, coffee's fine. What, does Roswell take coffee like Stephanie does, where it's 70% creamer with a drop of black in there just to spice it up?
Gross.
Never. You will, if you ever cohabitate for any amount of time with Stephanie, you'll be horrified by her coffee. You will be so distressed by what she does.
Hey.
I'll have you know that I'm perfectly functional in the morning without coffee.
But how are you so perky in the morning?
I already said he drinks tea. I just try to sleep well. That and take the chance to relax at times. You know. It's getting worse. You can't, after I'm reacting to you can't say, relax. You know.
Relax? But how?
I've never relaxed in my life with all this coffee. Orlando and I looked at each other before turning back to Roswell, unsure of how best to reply. Because you're hooking
I've never
up?
relaxed before in my life.
You know. Every line's making it worse. Is that not what they mean? Well, when a man loves a man very much.
What?
Isn't that a little personal? You know.
He's a guy, and I don't know how it works for dragons. It could be magical for all I know.
Oh, I'm sure his, is pretty
I'm
magical.
sure he's got some very magical relaxation time. You know. Gonna ruin for everyone in the audience every time that they hear it. I sat back and enjoyed my coffee while Roswell grilled Orlando for clarification. Not that it lasted all that long, as everyone else started to file in for breakfast. Much like the night before, Ty took a seat at the far end of the table, away from everyone else. I shot him a curious look, but he was out of it, still waking up it seemed. Once everyone was seated, I turned to Roswell. So, why do you have your notebook, Roswell? Oop, dropped my controller, it's fine.
You don't remember? We're sorting teams out for the scavenger hunt today.
Oh, right. But how are we going to fix the whole uneven teams problem?
Honestly, I couldn't think of a solution that enables us to only have pairs, so we're probably stuck on that front.
Someone's gonna have to die. Out of the corner of my eye, I caught Ty scoffing, but he didn't say anything against joining in, because he just assumes he's gonna be excluded or something. Well, hey, I don't mind the idea of pairs. I looked to Dean, sinking in my chair a little when I caught his expression, almost as if preempting where Dean's mind was going. Sal whapped him upside the head. Whether or not Ty wanted a closer seat to seeing Dean getting hit, or if he was feeling lonely, I don't know. He made his way down the table to sit next to me in the free seat. Pair seems fine, but how are we picking?
Pull names out of a hat.
Is it fine for it to be random? I tried to be subtle, when gesturing with my head to type. But no, you didn't have to do it out. Wait. Oi, who the fuck says I want to play this stupid thing anyway? Or if I want to partner with any of you to begin with. Lone Wolf Tyson. With Tyson picking a fight on one side of me while Roswell audibly ground his teeth together on the other side, I rubbed my face, hoping we could move on before another fight broke out. I really don't like that mental image of somebody just hearing someone grind their teeth.
Yeah.
So we have no idea how to get this going? Roswell? Orlando? Anyone? Well, why don't you just pick someone and we can go from there? Maybe if teams start forming, then I don't know. Yeah, I figured that we're gonna pick first and that's how the route happens. He shrugged, looking at me expectantly. Would it be alright if I just chose? But even then, who do I pick? I looked around the table and wondered who the best choice would be. I had a feeling that whoever I picked would shape the rest of the vacation, though. So I better. What if we could save in like a video game? Well, there's all of the people. I'm just gonna save like in a video game. Overwrite the last save. That one didn't matter. Oop. Miss O'Clicko. Okay. Sal. Honestly, Sal and I could do with hanging out more. He normally spent a lot more time with Orlando, despite being the one to introduce the two of them together. Despite me being the one to introduce them. While he didn't say much to me normally, he was big and kind, like an older brother. Plus, as the oldest of us, he could potentially know things the rest of us didn't, that'd help us win. Yeah. I didn't stutter.
Yay!
Look at the corner changed. It's the Sal route, so day 4 becomes green.
It did. You are correct.
I'll partner with Sal.
Okay.
This doesn't mean we get to worry about the fallout with Tyson now. What's gonna happen here? This can't go well. I wasn't quite sure if he was happy or not about it or not, but he seemed to not kick up a fuss either way. By comparison, though, several people are bothered by this. Dave and Sal. Well, alright.
Don't worry, big guy. You can partner with me. Isn't that the group they literally said not to partner together because they might not get along?
Because they're so laid back, which is yeah, I wonder what, yeah. It wasn't because they're so laid back, it's because despite that. But yeah, I don't think we know why they don't get along yet, right?
Yeah.
I winced, knowing who was left. So.
What?
The last team is myself and Roswell. Obviously, right? Orlando. No. Oh, no, just assuming you're excluding. No. Ty huffed next to me, but he said nothing. Probably for the best, as partnering him up with either Roswell or Orlando was just a recipe for disaster. I forget, does Orlando
Tyson
have
just
issues?
always with us? Does he always partner with us as a 3-person group?
Oh, maybe he will. Or maybe he just goes off alone.
Maybe.
I sat back in my chair before looking to Roswell. Okay, so what happens now?
So this is kind of interesting because there is a elephant in the room that is probably worth addressing. Probably worth addressing while the audience is captive and can pay attention to it to get ahead of some of the comments I'm sure we're gonna get, which is that we've been told, including by people who worked on this game, that the routes in this game are not really routes in a traditional sense. Which is to say, I'm really curious what changes, because it seems to me just by playing it, I would assume that every route is really different by the way this is all set up. But then, like, we've heard from people who haven't spoiled anything for us, but they've said, like, basically, like, oh, the routes are just like who you pick to come along with you. The story is going to be the same no matter what every time. So I'm very curious because it doesn't seem to match up with some of the comments we've already been getting, which is like, I hope you do this route, or I hope you do that route. And it's really like confusing.
I think the real answer is that discussing it on any level is just so dangerous for spoilers.
Yeah.
That, like,
absolutely.
Basically, people should not respond to this with clarification. Is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, don't respond to it with clarification.
Literally every attempt at any discussion about the future or what you want from us in the future or what your expectations of where to go or clarifications of the structural concerns we have are all spoilers.
Yes.
Just like how it's a spoiler whenever somebody has a theory and then you're like, no, that's not what's happening. You're like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Confirming negatives is also spoilers.
The reason why I wanted to bring it up, though, is just to get in front of people leaving comments by saying, like, listen, we're going to play the route we're going to play, and then we'll figure out if we are not satisfied with what's going on, we will keep going. Just stick around for it.
What happened is, I think the thing to say is that we're coming from a game like Echo, where each route is literally a different story, and there's there's a whole discourse conversation just about what order you should play those narratives in, because each one, it reveals different information and ends in different ways, and potentially, like, doing them in a specific order can be like potentially the best way to go through all the information. Whereas generally speaking, the stuff we were told about this game was just like, yeah, just pick whoever you want, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is it was a very different vibe, and yeah, I just don't want to dive too deep into it because it's just too rife for like the akin to like when you told me the route order that you said I should play in Echo, and then sometimes people would be like, no, that's not good, and I'm like, well, can't talk to you about it. I haven't played Echo.
Yeah, exactly.
Go argue with Toaster, which in many cases, since he's not in the playthrough, they don't care who you are because you're not in the playthrough that they're taking issue with, so they won't actually find you and talk to you about it. But I'm like, I'm not the person to talk to about it. I'm going in blind, and at this point, the choice is already made. So
yes,
if you don't agree with it, too bad. Any attempt to discuss it with me will only spoil things for me while also not getting what you want.
Yes. So I guess my point here, though, and the whole reason why I brought it up is just to say, like, we are playing the game the way that we've been told to play it, which is to say, just pick whoever you like, because it's not going to
it's just too late now. It's already too late, so too bad, basically.
Exactly.
But I thought the elephant in the room when you said that was just the fact that, like, they're really just powering through the question of what to do with Tyson here. We never resolved.
No, they're literally ignoring him.
Yeah, they never resolved at all what's going to happen with Tyson. And so when Dave was like, okay, so what happens now? I figured he meant, like, with Tyson, like, how do we resolve the extra person and what we're going to do here? And then fucking Roswell. I'm like, Roswell, goddammit.
Well, Benson gave me a clue.
Hold on. If Benson knows where these things are already, then why are we going to go look for them?
Maybe he only knows of this one. After all, doesn't make much sense to offer a reward for just running an errand. I mean, that's literally labor. That's literally what a job is.
Also, just like the clue might not be like a video game clue, like I made the puzzle and here's a clue, but like a real life clue, as in like here's a piece of evidence of what could have happened.
Yeah. The boy who hit all the medals and then died was last seen by the pool.
Like no one's like, Phoenix Wright, why do you know a clue for this case? Did you do it? It's like, no, it's not what clues are.
Then there's the whole idea that this is supposed to last a month. Can't have us finding everything in a day or two, right? Yeah, but what if you did?
It could just, yeah. Also, like, they didn't come here for this game, so like it could easily just not last a month and then just do something
imagine,
else. Like,
imagine how unbelievable it would be if they hyped it up this hard, and then it literally just hard cuts to 6 hours later, and it's like they found them all. Yeah. Oh no, what did they do for the rest of the month?
Turns out 7 people can turn a mansion upside down in only like a couple days. I guess not. But how far spread are these things supposed to be? Dean, they're supposed to be missing. They could be in Wisconsin. Don't tell me we might end up having to search the forest, too. Oh, I promise you.
What's the clue we have to work with anyway? Oh, right. Probably in the hedge maze. That's not a clue. That's not a clue. The dude was just trying to get you to stop asking him questions, Roswell. You were like, do you have any clues, sir?
These medals don't exist.
Probably in the hedge maze.
These medals don't exist at all.
Probably over there.
Roswell's
you can
just
go look for something.
Roswell's just annoying the butler, and he's like, I bet there's a special secret in the hedge maze. Why don't you go check it out, little boy? Like, it's definitely like you have 5-year-old siblings, and you just try and distract them, so you just make something up to just
oh
them
my
go
god
away.
Genuinely funny.
That's not much of a clue.
Agreed. It just sort of tells us where to look.
That's what
That's
a clue
not the
is.
problem with that.
That's
Hoss.
what a clue is. That's what a clue is, Hoss. What do you think a clue is?
Would have been more appropriate to say something like, hidden deep in the labyrinth of green, there you'll find a golden sheen.
That's a riddle. It's not a clue. Also, immediately you know what it means, so it's the same. It's like, oh, what could it possibly mean? The labyrinth of green? I'll never figure this one out. I should stare at the greenhouse for a day.
We don't know if they're gold, do we? No. Would have just made a better clue than just go check the hedge maze. This is just the clue that was given to me. What do you want me to do about it?
The infighting has
He's
already
getting
begun.
all defensive.
This friend group will never survive. This clue is the Sydney of this group.
Nothing at all. Don't worry about it, I guess. Exactly. Now let's head outside.
No, I want to fight about this for 2 more hours. We filed outside, wandering over to the maze before riding high on the curiosity. Mostly riding high on the curiosity. I had to admit, it was nice doing everything as a group. These are my friends. These are the people that make me happy. They hate each other.
I like how they were supposed to split up and then see who finds the most medals into teams that we just caused drama to create. And then right after, he's like, I love doing things all as a group together without splitting up.
Yeah. These are my
like,
friends.
all right.
I love hanging out with my friends who are just fighting over a clue.
We just basically constructed a reason to completely ignore and exclude Tyson, and now we're all gonna go out and hang out together. It's
I
like, what?
Well, I do think we're gonna split up in the maze. I think that's a given.
Hopefully.
It's just
God
it is goofy that we're not
bless
spreading
us
out
with
over
such
it's just goofy that we're not spreading out over the entire campus, but instead we immediately have a clue that tells us all to go to the same place, and then just like honor codes spread out, I guess, because we were supposed to be teams.
Yeah.
Despite having notably been left out of the teams as such, and never acknowledged it as that being done, despite not being the plan, Tyson seems to come along for the ride. I wonder who's alone if you pick Tyson. Splitting off into our pairs.
Probably.
Oh yeah, it makes sense, because he's the lonerest person of them all.
Yeah.
Splitting off into our pairs, we took one last look at the maze. That's a weird thing to say when you're going to enter it. I like the fact that Tyson, who was sticking around in his ear, not in the rear. Okay. Definitely not his rear. Watching as the other pairs went on out inside. Wow, I'm a mess. And slow down. Take a breath. Okay. This should be fine. It's just a maze, right? 7 will enter, but 6 will remain. There's your riddle, bitch. I was wrapping myself up. A little friendly competition never hurt everyone, after all. Even Tyson seemed to be ready to give it a shot, wandering into the maze with his hands, fiddling with something in his pockets and disappearing out of sight. I looked across to Sal, who seemed firmly planted on the spot next to me. Firmly planted. Sal?
He's just gonna look down and find a medal right there. Like, hey.
Ah, there it is.
Hey, there's a medal in the ground.
Oh, yep, yeah, there it is. Sal? Everything all right?
It's fine.
Okay. Should we, in the maze? Sal shrugged, taking a few steps towards the entrance, but going no further.
You can lead the way. I don't mind.
Oh, all right. For the first little bit, we wandered around. Granted, I didn't have any real method of trying to solve these things. It was just... So, I think we might be lost.
Oh.
I mean, it's just bushes. They won't kill us. Just pick a direction and walk. I looked to Sal, who had his eyes on the ground, looking tense. Sal? Are you alright?
I'm fine. I just don't like mazes. Everything looks the same.
Isn't that part of the fun, though? Sal sighed, flexing his hands.
Being lost isn't fun.
Well, so long as you don't go running off like Dean, you should be alright. Did Dean go running off? All you have to do is all you have to really do is just pick a side. Just trace a wall forever. In fact, that's probably the best approach, because your goal is to complete. Your goal isn't to solve the maze; it's to complete the maze. You need to check every single part of it for a potential medal. As if to prove my point, Dean wailed somewhere inside the maze about being lost. You're at least keeping your head about it.
I'm used to it. It's better to be the one with a level head in times like these.
And my head's very flat. Hey, I'm able to keep calm.
But you're so small, though.
You know. I pouted, crossing my arms and turning away from him in a huff. You're just really tall, Sal. I'm still taller than Roswell, at least.
Sorry.
Didn't realize you had a whole complex about it.
But still. I don't like not knowing where we are. It makes it harder to keep an eye out for danger.
You think there's danger nearby?
No, but it's a habit. Bayou, beach, mall. Danger could appear in any of these places, so it's good to be ready.
I laughed, nervous. Sal's worries about danger planting the seed of doubt in my mind as to how safe we actually were.
We're fine. I can tell there's water nearby.
What? Like the pool?
No, less water than that.
Yes! Use your amazing water senses, Sal, to take us to like the little fountain that has the metal in it.
Yeah.
That's definitely what's happening, right?
Yep.
Worst case scenario, we won't die of thirst.
Why would you say that?
It's always good to know where a source of water is.
Thanks, Dad.
Drink water. I don't think we'll be stuck in here that long, though.
Well, what should we do? Try and find the exit again, or go back to looking for this metal?
You can choose. It doesn't really bother me. This is just a bit of fun anyway.
Thoroughly stressed now, I decided what we should do. It's good to keep a level head, but talk about things in terms that freak out your partner for no reason when he was not worried. I mean, we don't have much reason to not keep searching. Even
Imagine if we just exited every time and just protested the game.
Yeah. The only in-universe, the only possible reason I would ever choose to leave is just the weirdness of that it's given as a choice.
Yep.
So I'm like, why would we leave?
Because it implies that there might be something meaningful there.
Yeah, that you inherently, you're like, that choice might be something you'd want to do for some reason. All right. Well, let's continue towards this metal.
You're sure?
I wasn't going to let this attitude bog down what enthusiasm I'd hyped up myself to have before starting. Yeah. After all, it's just for fun, right?
Right.
We started to wander again, with me leading the way I thought was correct. The longer we walked, the more I wondered if I was making any headway. We've got to be close by now, right? Sal remained quiet, but I could hear his heavy footfalls behind me. It was better than not hearing anything at all, indicating we'd been separated. You could just look. Occasionally, you can hold hands the whole time, you know. Occasionally, Dean would call out from somewhere else in the maze, asking for advice.
Just follow one of the walls. Dean, you'll be fine.
They lose each other?
I guess so.
Dave.
Huh? What's wrong?
Do you know where you're going?
No, Sal, it's a maze. I shrank into my shoulders, hesitating from replying, but settling on just slowly shaking my head.
I thought so. Do you mind if I led the way for a bit?
Oh, go for it. With a nod, Sal gestured for me to follow, choosing to double back the way we had come to go down a different path. So, you have any idea where we should be going?
Yep.
Ow.
Oh.
Sal stopped, turning to look at me.
Like this.
Sal picked a leaf off one of the walls covering the maze and let it fall to the ground in the middle of the path.
That's why I've been letting you lead, so I can follow behind and leave a trail.
Oh, so you've marked the way out this whole time?
Yep.
But why?
Hansel and Gretel. It worked for them. Could work for us.
I'm too young to know about the Minotaur. You're talking about the children's story, right? With the witch?
There's Vor at the end of this story.
Uh-oh.
That's right.
You're so small. I wasn't expecting you to use something from a book for kids, but if it works...
It'll do this time, at least.
You know, those stories are to teach you lessons you're supposed to then use and internalize. You're more worrying if you don't use them in long term.
I like how just normal and stable and capable Sal is so far.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, all he's done is like leave some leaves on the ground, which like isn't a great idea because they could just get blown aside or like lose their path.
Yeah,
but
it's not a very safe marking.
Yeah, but the fact that he's just like casually doing things without making a fuss out of it and without being like, in other words, this is how we leave a trail, just like the myth of Hansel and Gretel. Have you ever heard of that? In the story, you know, like without being like that, he's just capable. He's just does. He's got to settle for his
leaves because he wasn't given time to prepare his golden thread.
Yeah, and he's like, all right, whatever.
I'm just immediately shitting myself at the premise of having like writing a longer visual novel where you then had to write 6 versions of this scene.
Yeah. Definitely a crazy amount of work, I'm sure.
What a number of options to pick. Oh my god. With our path back seemingly marked by Sal, we headed back to the start. Oops, I must have hit a direction. Wait, why are they heading back to the start? Didn't we specifically choose to not? We chose not to go back to the start, right?
I thought so.
Yeah, we said to keep
selected
searching.
the wrong one.
Didn't take long before we'd all assembled back in the front of the maze, with Orlando needing to go back to retrieve Dean. They're not very good teammates. As we were told, I guess. We were told that they wouldn't be, I guess. Let's see. Yeah, continue searching. Oh no. Not to the next choice. Is this the auto proceed one? Yeah. Yeah. This is what happens when you say keep searching as you leave.
That's really confusing.
I guess it's implied that he got lost, and so Sal brought him back to the front. I honestly thought that Sal's water sense was going to lead him to like the water, and the water was where the metal is. I thought that was the setup.
I mean, I would assume he could do that.
Yeah.
If he wanted to.
Didn't take long before it all assembled in front of the maze. Yeah. We headed back towards the mansion, a mixed bag of how people felt that went.
Shame that bout of fun is over.
Sorry, but you can't best me at mazes. Oh, did he find it? As if to prove the point further, Orlando flashed the medallion he'd gotten in the middle of the maze. The exact route he took to get there, he didn't quite know, but the important thing was the medal he found. If it's a game, trust me, I'm in the best position to take first place. I wonder if there's like a different person wins. I wonder if what we did earlier was a route choice that's long. Like, yeah, I guess it was, huh? Sorry, I just imagined a different game for a moment there where like you... the premise was that those are our teams for the whole game. But for a moment I was thinking like, oh, if you pick a teammate for each challenge, like maybe you get the good ending by like knowing in advance
picking
who
right
is good at each
time.
challenge and picking them all right. Yeah, but we're stuck with the same person no matter what. So even if we picked Orlando, he's probably gonna flub the next one anyway.
Yeah.
That was a little harder than I gave it credit for, but at least it was something different.
No kidding. But hey, 11 more medals to find, right? Wait. Everyone turned to me, my eyes darting back to the maze. Where's Ty?
Oh, he's fine.
Where's Ty? Bro.
We just buried him.
Bro. You literally didn't even check with him a single time after you picked your teammate. Never figured out whether he should be on a team or not. Never even checked to see if he came with you guys into the maze in the first place, and never thought about him a single time since.
Yeah.
Ty's having a rough time having been brought here by us as a +1, and in most routes we're not with him. Like just numerically, you're like, oh no, is Ty Leo?
I gave up pretty early and noticed him leaving just ahead of me to go back inside.
I'm sure your teammate loves you for just giving up. Wait, no, your teammate won.
Mm-hmm.
They just gave up and just left Orlando to deal with it. Everyone else split up apparently from their teammates?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that.
They didn't think that they. I guess technically it is a maze, so I don't know how much you can like cooperate at a maze. So maybe just covering more ground and then being able to share the credit for between whoever gets it does make sense. But I don't think anyone made that tactical choice, especially if Roswell just gave up and left.
Didn't hang around, so maybe it's just working out.
Well, all right. Dean patted me on the shoulder, groaning to himself. Reminded me not to go wandering in there again. Thought I'd be stuck in there forever. Wasn't that bad, was it? If I'm going back in, I'm bringing climbing gear to scale those walls just in case. They're bushes. You can defeat them. I believe in you. You're a bear.
Well, I don't think there's another metal in there, so there shouldn't be any need to go in unless you really wanted to.
I mean, dude, how do you know that there's no metal in
We
there?
don't know
They're
where they
lost.
are.
What are you talking about,
Are
buddy?
we supposed to be understanding them as being diegetically lost in real life, or that they're like hidden around, were they just hidden around like a special themed hunt where each one has a specific biome?
And like, I don't know. The setup of this hunt is a little sus. I can't trust it. Right
I don't
now.
trust it. I don't trust it.
Yeah.
I think that
This is
I
not
think
some
the hunt
story.
Is fake.
The hunt is fake.
The moment there was a clue where one of them was, I'm gonna be like, and then apparently Orlando found it in the middle of the maze. So it wasn't lost somewhere in the maze. It was in the place where you'd put a prize in a maze.
Yeah. So it definitely sounds like something that was set up to make us feel like we're doing something important here, and then chances are us walking in this particular pattern around the estate is going to summon Cthulhu. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where my brain goes. It's just, that's the only other option here. We're going to find out that we're privy to, like, you know, actually we just set up a fail safe that's going to launch the nuclear codes. Like, it's so insane.
I don't think that the maze navigation was fulfilling anyone's plans, but I think us playing along to the puzzle,
it was fulfilling Satan's plan.
I think us getting invested in the puzzle is a trap. But I don't think that the labyrinth accomplished anything for anyone. Whatever whatever.
No,
like,
just you wait. Just you wait. It's all gonna connect.
Oh fuck!
It's all gonna pay off, Keith.
All right. Cool. Good.
So what now?
Well, I was thinking I might go experiment in the kitchen for a bit. You know.
Experiment with what, buddy?
And then I'll swim.
I'm gonna go sort out some gardening stuff then.
So we're all going our separate ways for now? Guess I can go read until it's time for dinner, I suppose. Maybe in that one room that's kind of for reading.
You guys are all underachievers. You're fools. If Toaster and I were in this challenge, we'd already be looking for the next one.
We would have 3 of the medals already.
You just keep looking. Why would you like, well, somebody found one of them, time to all split up and, I don't know, jack off for 6 hours. Like, what?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, two things can happen, but...
What are you planning on doing, Dave?
Jacking off for 6 hours.
Dunno. Might go play games or something? You know.
Want some company?
Fuck no. God, get out of here, dude. I'm hanging out with Tyson. You little freak.
I was thinking about heading into the woods to look for mushrooms.
Yeah, no way, dude. Get away from me.
But I want to take a break first anyway.
Dude. No. Go away.
Great.
It's content.
This dude is gonna be unhinged. Like, I just do not trust this guy at all.
Yeah. I immediately figured he was the villain. And I have no idea if that's even remotely true, but it makes me think, let's go alone into the woods now. I'm like, uh-oh. It'd be really funny if we're just 0% correct, but we just are still committing to, like, We're just committing this line of logic the entire playthrough, and like no one's ready for like the Roswell villain read of this game.
I mean, just look at him. He looks like he just looks like the villain.
What does that mean?
Look at his expression. Dude's looking at us like he's about to slice us open.
He's just you see his perspective, and it's just like vats.
He's just like standing around
you can just
with
see
glassy
all the cuts
eyes.
of meat on our body.
Exactly. He's standing around with glassy eyes, doesn't really know what time is passing, gets lost from his own partner immediately, who conveniently wins, constantly has all these excuses for things. It's like, yeah, Benson told me this was a clue. The clue was, go to the center of the maze and you will find a medal that was allegedly hidden. Doesn't this sound like a great activity, guys? Wow. Anyway, here's the murder vault. You get to go inside if you do this random arbitrary thing that I told you all to do. Doesn't that sound like fun?
Yeah,
I'm gonna run into the woods and do mushrooms now.
You got the prophecy as the you got the password as the prophecy foretold.
It's just like, dude,
Notably,
you're
like
a
Benson's
nightmare
dead.
person.
We haven't even seen Benson. Like there's no confirmation the clue came from him. We haven't seen him for 2 days.
We're gonna go upstairs and find his mangled corpse.